Hello YouTube, welcome to part one in a series all about Konmari and moving across the country, because that is a thing that I've done. So I am here in the Seattle, Washington area of the United States, Pacific Northwest. I recently moved from the Washington DC area, specifically Maryland, Silver Spring, Maryland, and I wanted to do a series of videos talking about the intersection of Konmari and a big move. So please check out, I'll try to remember to link in the cards, the playlist, but please check out my previous videos on Konmari if you want to know a little bit more about how I started with Konmari and the reset that I did last year in 2019. So in this video, I'm going to talk specifically about the process of packing up my stuff and moving and making choices about the move. And then in future parts, I'll talk a little bit more about setting up my new space. So this was kind of a version, I guess, a little bit of a forced version of an annual reset. So I first did KonMari in 2018 and then reset in 2019. And by the way, I'm going to be looking down. It's just because my computer is down below me right now. So when we talk about packing and moving, the frank realities are that I decided to move in January. I'll also try to link my video about that, but I made a fairly sudden decision to move just a few months in advance. And I did not want to go through the process of hiring movers to move across the country. It just didn't seem to make any sense to me. I had lived in the Baltimore, DC area for about 11 years, and it was time to I wasn't attached to any of my furniture or anything like that. I didn't own any really big, expensive, important items to move, and so it made much more sense to just let go of things and in KonMari fashion and move without movers. And so I was limited in terms of what I could ship, what I could, and keeping in mind with shipping, I wasn't going to do a full freight situation, and I don't have a car, so getting stuff to ship was what could I carry to the UPS store, or what could my dear roommates, thank you roommates, drive for me after I left, because my move did get kind of accelerated with COVID-19. So what could I ship? What could I pack in suitcases? I was lucky enough to have already scheduled a visit in February to have amazing partners who would let me keep stuff in their house. So I quickly bought luggage, had 3 suitcases, got the Alaska Airlines deal where you can get a free checked bag. And so I was able to move 3 suitcases full in February, another 3 suitcases full in March when I actually moved. And also I was going to Portland for the Northwest Tarot Symposium. So a couple of backpacks full of stuff are sitting in my coworker's attic right now. Thanks, Lisa. So that was what I was able to bring, which meant that there would not be enough room for every single thing that sparked joy. So I wasn't just doing a regular KonMari, going through and what sparks joy, but I had to be a little more practical and functional about it. To be fair, one of the positives, I guess, is that Marie Kondo does talk a lot about being able to replace things. Now, this is definitely coming from a privileged position financially, but I do have that privilege that most things, if I really need to, I can replace. So I was going in with that mindset of, if something sparks joy, make sure you record it, write it down, and know about it, so that if you want to replace it, you can. You could also find something else that sparks joy. Maybe just have things be a little different. So certain categories of stuff, just like I said, aren't really feasible to ship. So furniture, I just wasn't going to do. Almost all my kitchen stuff, except for my soda stream that I had just bought, and a few mugs that are sentimentally important to me, kitchen stuff was gone. So all the kitchen stuff I'd had is gone. I'm sure my roommates are happy to have that stuff, but the thing I did, no one who subscribes to this channel will be in any way surprised by this, is I put together a spreadsheet. So I put together several spreadsheets, but the one that I will focus on in this video, I put together a spreadsheet called Stuff Inventory, and I started going through all my stuff, writing it down. I had a separate tab for books because that was a whole different thing. So every single book that I owned, and went through it and made decisions using that spreadsheet. So of course, if it was, excuse me, of course, if it was something that did not spark joy at all, if there were things that were left that in a normal reset I would be getting rid of, it's out. But if it was something that I might want to replace that does spark joy, but I just decided it wasn't worth it. Shipping is very expensive, I learned. So if is it replaceable? I was going through that spreadsheet, and a lot of what I was doing was actually noting down. So if you're going to move, you can look things up and make a note. Can I replace this? Does it still exist? What would the cost be to replace it versus the cost to ship it? So making decisions that way. Like for example, books, you can, in the United States, you can media mail. And so books are way cheaper to ship than other things. So I actually have 9 boxes of books that are currently in Maryland that as soon as they feel comfortable doing so, my roommates are going to ship out to me. Those are going to be a lot cheaper for me to send. So I was a little more liberal about books, particularly because I have a lot of books that are irreplaceable, that don't exist, are out of print. You can't get them anymore. So that was one thing. And so I was doing a lot of just research, particularly with books. It was like, does this exist in digital form? Because I'm taking this as a leap. I know Marie Kondo does the whole 40 books thing, which I think is bullshit. If you like books, sorry, Marie. But I did finally, I had gradually been doing this, and I finally was like, you know what? You like digital reading anyway. You can highlight, you can make notes. I used to always think like I would never want a digital cookbook, and now I'm like, oh my god, a searchable cookbook? Like, cookbook indexes are never any good. So actually, I would rather have digital cookbooks. There were a lot of things like that I was just like, oh yeah, I want this digital. And so I would check if it's available anywhere digitally. Then I would just make a note of the price so that in the future I can make decisions based on that. And pretty much everything that was available digitally, I decided to donate. Of the stuff that wasn't available digitally, again, does it spark joy? Am I going to read it again? Is really part of the question. And is it available? So if something was available in print and I wasn't like sure I was going to read it again, then I'd get rid of it, because I felt like if I change my mind, I can change my mind. If I wasn't as sure and something was not available and I definitely wouldn't be able to get it again, I would be more likely to keep it. So those are the kinds of decisions I was making and going through my spreadsheet. I also started putting together a spreadsheet of stuff to buy when I got here. So stuff that I definitely would need to replace or get a new version of. Did I want to get the exact same one? If not, then just like write down the category. Like, I need plates, sure. I also categorized based on priority. So like immediate, soon, medium, low for how quickly I needed to buy stuff. That did change a little bit with COVID-19 because it suddenly meant that I probably wasn't going to be going to physical stores to try things. I was being a little more like, what do I really actually definitely need? And so I made some adjustments with that. But that's the basic idea. There are some things that I like. The most obvious is you may have seen behind me in my videos from my old apartment, and you will probably see at some point again, depending on where I decide to film. I have a big painting that just says "Queer the Binary," and it's like pink paint and it's dripping. I love that painting. That painting probably cost me $30. The artist doesn't do art anymore or doesn't sell art anymore. It's irreplaceable. It's also not like, probably wouldn't be that hard to like recreate, but it's just, it's something I care about. I like that I supported a young queer artist, and I love the painting. And so I probably spent nearly $200 combined in shipping and then the packing materials to carefully pack that painting, like way more than it's valued. But sometimes something means a lot to you, like that's okay. And that's one thing I like about Konmari, is that there is mementos, like there's an understanding that certain things are just priceless, and that is how you roll. So so that's basically my my packing and shipping. Everything so far has gone fine. I've started reacquiring things, and in the next video I'm going to talk about setting up a new apartment with Konmari. So I hope you will subscribe so that you get notifications when that comes out. Feel free to leave comments if you have done this, or if you're going to do it and you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video.